Is Pokemon Champions coming to mobile in June? This month? That's what we're going to talk about right now. Yes. Welcome back to The Bros and the Badges. I'm Mr. Bro. This is Mr. Badge. Not true. I'm Zach and this is Joe. And yes, today we are talking about whether or not Pokemon Champions is coming this month. What is the evidence for it coming in June? Well, the Pokemon official Korean website actually listed that the game was coming in June before quickly deleting that and then just updating it to summer 2026. So a lot of people think that they accidentally just leaked that information, so it is coming in June. Also, with Pokemon Unite, there was a 2-month turnaround from that game being released on Switch and then 2 months later it coming to mobile. So that would be a good indicator that they are trying the same thing this time around. Game comes out in April on the Switch too, and then a couple months later, April, May, June, the game comes out on mobile. I literally actually just had to do that with my fingers because I wasn't totally sure. That's how bad I am with the months and how bad I am at math. Anyway, that's probably why I'm not very good at Pokemon Champions, because I can't do math. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a very strong argument to be made that the game is coming this month. I would almost expect it. I would be surprised if we don't see it the next 2 to 3 weeks, but that's just my take. Joe, you have a different take, and you think that the game actually might not be coming out till August or later? What do you think, Joe? Where do you stand with this?
I mean, look, I will say the Korean website having that information does make it seem like June is kind of the de facto launch date that they had in mind. But, you know, some things that I've thought about, and even some of our commenters have commented on past videos, something that just doesn't add up, and that is Pokemon Worlds. Now, for those of you not in the know, Pokemon Worlds is the official, like, Pokemon, I guess, VGC format tournament, right? This is something that they have had a hand in for quite some time, and this upcoming one is pretty much dedicated to Pokemon Champions, right? This is the kind of handoff from mainline Pokemon games to Pokemon Champions being the new competitive standard. Now, why does this matter? Well, so for those of you that don't know, this year's Pokemon Worlds is going to be August 28th to the 30th. Now, this raises kind of a problem, because if you are someone who is in mobile, you are pretty much just not, you're not in the cards for this, right? There are qualifiers that need to happen beforehand, but also if you're a mobile player and you're new to the scene and this is something that you are aiming for, you're not gonna, realistically, you have probably a month and a half to do anything in the game, let alone become someone who is able to participate in the worlds in a meaningful manner. So I think for that reason, I could see them holding off. Now, originally my guess, and I think a lot of people's guesses, were it was going to launch closer to September or maybe even later, though I don't necessarily agree with that. But again, I think Worlds just kind of muddies the water when it comes to this. Now, as far as the game in general, people enjoying it, I think getting it into mobile players' hands as fast as possible makes the most sense, right? Just at the end of the day, not everybody's going to Worlds, right? People want to just enjoy a competitive Pokemon battler. So I think for that reason, it can possibly drop now. But I think in terms of just overall planning, it's a little too close to Worlds. I don't know if that's something that they want to, you know, kind of have their timeline be, but maybe they're not thinking about it from a competitive lens. Maybe they're just thinking about it in, you know, a general population being able to have fun. But I think that's why I'm leaning more towards August. But this is something that we spoke about, Zach, and you still seem pretty adamant on June being the release. So you wanna talk me through that process? Maybe bring me over to your side, because again, I want it to be June. I think it'd be the most fun. I would love to play it on my phone myself. I love mobile gaming. Please don't roast me too hard on that. I have a job, okay? It's tough to bring the Switch everywhere, but I do think it would just be a fun thing. But again, I am unfortunately pretty negative on the situation, so maybe you could shine some light on that.
I mean, I think it's a pretty good point. I could see them announcing the release of it actually at Worlds. They've done big announcements before, and so it could be a cool thing that at Worlds they're like, hey, guess what? Champions just dropped for mobile, so if you're a mobile player, go pick it up. It could be like a big shadow drop, or they could announce it like a week or two later. Maybe that means it does come early September or something like that. I think the Worlds argument is really good, because it does seem kind of like unfair if they release it in June and then all of those Champions players just don't have the ability to even go play the game at Worlds. I think that's a great argument. Although, I don't know, I just think the evidence stacks up too much that it's going to come in June. I feel like the Korean website saying it was going to come in June, and then also the fact that we have Unite having that 2-month turnaround just seems like that's what they're gonna do. Is it kind of a smack in the face? Yeah, absolutely. But also at the same time, it sucks to say, I don't think they really care that much.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're like thinking like, oh, like all of those Champions players aren't gonna get to compete in Worlds and they're gonna be mad. I feel like they're probably just like, oh, well, let's get it out because the mobile players want to play too. You know, I don't think it's the end of the world if those people can't compete in Worlds. Is it annoying and frustrating? Yeah. I mean, honestly, I wish they had just dropped the game at the same time for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously there's reasons they do this. I don't know what those reasons always are, but it would have just made more sense to me to just release the game at the same time so everybody was on the same footing and everyone could compete in Worlds in San Francisco. But anyway, I don't know. I think it makes too much sense that it's coming in June. Although, I don't know. If anything, you're pulling me to your side a little bit. I could see an August release, early September. I think both of those make sense. But I also don't think anyone playing mobile is probably sitting around going, dang, if they give the game to me in June, I can't play Worlds. They're probably just like, at this point, could you just give me the game? You know, like they'd probably still rather play it sooner than later. And if anything, maybe they get the game in June, they realize they can't compete in Worlds, but then they're like, okay, well, now's my time to get ready for the next one. But for some reason, if the game doesn't come out till the end of August, September, now is a good chance to do those things we mentioned in an earlier video, the things you should do, the top 5 things you should do before diving into Pokemon Champions. For any mobile player, try out Pokemon Showdown. That's a great place to get your feet wet. Start collecting Pokemon in Pokemon Home. You can just use the free version. I think there's only like 30 spots in the box or something, which is pretty egregious. But if you have any of the games on Switch or Switch 2, you could start transferring some of them to Pokemon Home, or even from Pokemon Go, I believe, to Pokemon Home. So yeah, that's a great way to get started. Start watching. You know, you can watch some VGC videos from past Worlds, etc. Scarlet Violet. See what other players were doing, and yeah, just start kind of figuring out what team you'd want to make. And you do have a lot of prep time, and honestly it took me a lot of prep time to even figure out what I was doing in the game. So if you get started now, by the time Champions comes out on mobile, you might already have an edge and a leg up on all those other mobile players just by watching our content, you know, or you know, watching other people like Wolf VGC. That guy's a genius. He knows way more about battling than Joe and I will ever know combined. Anyway, we're more interested in giving the updates. But anyways, guys, yeah, let us know what you think. Do you think the Champions is coming out in June this month, or do you think it's still a ways out? I'm still leaning towards June. I think it's a given. Joe, I do feel like you've got some fire in the tank, man.
I do.
Anyway, guys, let us know when you think the game is coming. And we will see you all on the next Bros and Badges podcast. Till then, peace.